You are now listening to the Prince Bailey Arena broadcast show.
Yes, people, welcome to the Prince Bailey Arena. Got myself, Kishan Prince here, with my also host, Ryan Bailey. What's going on, Ryan?
Going up.
Yes, people. So this is episode 6. Today we've got a non-league player, first non-league player. We're going to have Fabio Saraiva. Don't know who he is. He played for Mercham. He was at step 3, step 4. Maidstone as well, Woking, Custodian Town, Leatherhead as well. He's been a semi-pro player since he's 17, now 30, still playing, which we'll talk about as well. Scored his 15 goals actually for Woking in his first season there, and when they were in the National League, and also captain Merchant to promotion at the age of 21 into the Brahmin Premier League, all the way through to the playoffs and scored in the final and scored in the first round of the proper FA Cup as well as made it into the second round and scoring twice also in the FA Cup. And also won the league with Chattenham last year, which is step 4, and has won the Surrey Cup twice. So without further ado, we're going to welcome Fabio here. So welcome, bro. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we're going to go straight into it, guys. So again, what I was going to say is, in terms of yourself getting into the love of the game, playing, like when did you see that happening and yourself falling in love with playing, with football and also growing up in South London as you did?
Yeah, so I can't really remember that age I started playing, but I just remember my dad having a real love for the game. He was a massive Sporting Lisbon fan. So he used to watch football. Whenever there was football, he'd watch it. So I picked it up from him, sort of thing. And then I just remember from young ages playing end to end after school, just constantly, um, until the mum had to say, you have to come in. So yeah, just used to love the game. Um, and played grassroots up until like under 14s where I was at Coles Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, didn't ever was never at an academy at young age. Just always grew up through grassroots, playing with friends, playing for little local teams.
Okay.
So I take it that he was never scouted at 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 the grassroots level at that time.
Yeah, no. So at 16 was probably the first time I'd say I had proper coaching, and I was part of like a college setup. Uh, and yeah, before that it was always grassroots, and I'd probably say grassroots probably improved since I was playing. Where you do have some qualified coaches, obviously I know there's still um, room for improvement, but it's definitely improved
Mm-hmm.
in terms of proper coaching. So yeah, 16 to 19 is where I feel like I developed the most as a player, down to what I'd call proper coaching.
Okay. So you see, like you say, coaching, because it seems like you've gone through like the stages there, but obviously being in a setup where the environment is solely kind of focused on education. What would you say? Um, what would you say where it clicked for you? Because I scout various levels. I think the lowest club I've scouted is at a Cat 3 club, and even then, no disrespect to the grassroots coaches, but you said this on episode 1 that the level between grassroots and academies is like a count mile. So what would you say was the coaching method or style that clicked or made you think, right, I'm developing here?
Yeah, I think there's a lot that goes into it, but obviously the knowledge of the coach. I think the detail that you're told certain things, like I feel like at grassroots it would be a bit like um, just broad, like obviously it's improved in terms of the way the football's being played, but it would just be like kick it long, um, get tight, tackle. Like there's no real detail to what the coach is actually saying to the kid. Like if he's up against a quick winger, it's about as the ball's travelling, can you get tight? Can you stop and turn it? Whereas it's literally at grassroots, I feel like sometimes like stop getting beat, but the kid's not actually getting taught how can I stop him getting beat, or if I'm not getting on the ball enough, like what do I need to do to affect the game to get on the ball? Does my movement need to be better? Do I need to do double movement? Do I need to take them away to come to fit? So all these little small details that I feel like when you have a proper coach, you get taught that, and then it's about you as a player taking it on board and then applying it in your game. But if you're not getting taught it, then I think it's very hard for you to apply it. And obviously, you can learn it all yourself, but there's certain things that you do need to be taught to then apply it.
100% of that. I think that's probably where there's a big gap. Because in Portugal, even at grassroots level, it's still very strong. Like it's like the coaches there at grassroots level are proper because obviously they're like the feeders, if you say that, is to the Sportings and the Benfica. So if we can get that better over here, I think we'll have a better chance of kind of cleaning up certain things. Because episode 1 we did speak, or Ryan did mention this as well. What do you think? Would you advise? Um, especially at the ages of that you coach, and even up to about 15, 16, in terms of things that players could probably do by themselves individually, forget one-to-one coach, that could probably put them in a better standard play.
I think you can't get enough of like the technical basics. I coach 16-year-olds as well, when you just can't get enough of that. Like your first touch, your passing, like literally 5-10 yard passing. I remember at 16 hearing a story about how Gary Neville and Phil Neville used to literally get a little line in training and stand 10 yards apart and just literally say to each other, right foot, left foot. That is such basic, whereas sometimes I feel players feel like that's too easy, but you can, realistically, you can make a career out of having a good first touch and not giving the ball away. Obviously, physically, you have to be at a certain level, but yeah, if you get the basics right, you can always build on that. Whereas obviously, there's a lot of the 1v1 players now, players who can beat a player, which is obviously great. And you need that. And I feel like obviously with England, you went through the time where you had your Gerrards, your Lampard, your Beckham, who could all strike a ball well. And then we're probably now going through the spell of like your 1v1 players who are very technically gifted on the ball, beating a player. It's just about like one, finding what you're good at, and then like really mastering that as much as you can. Because you imagine like Lionel Messi being told like you ain't strong enough. He had the mentality of I'm just going to give up. Like he mastered what he's good at.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Let's go straight into the time when you signed with Mersham at 20 years old. Is it 20? You just signed?
17.
17. So how was it like playing first team football at that age?
Oh, it was a massive learning experience. So I was playing college, and I was lucky enough that the coach for my college team, he also the manager at Mersham, so he brought me along, and I was quite lucky that Mersham didn't really have a big budget, so they sort of had to go with a few young players, me being one of them. And I just remember my first game, I'll never forget it. It was I was 17, it was Whitstable ball away. I played left back, and I just remember this big man at the time. I just felt like a little kid. This big man, the striker, just pulling on me every time, and he was just going up for headers all the time. And I was like, wow, this is non-league. Like, and then I had a decent game, to be fair. And then I remember 90th minute, I'd gone to clear the ball, sliced it slightly, went to the right winger. He smashed it in the top corner from 25 yards, and we lost 1-0. And I got absolutely bollocked in the change room as well. And I was like, wow, there is no hiding place in here. So it was a real learning curve. But at the time, I wouldn't say I was enjoying it. Like obviously, I was making mistakes, and it felt like every mistake I'd make, I'd be punished for it. Whereas at college games, I weren't getting punished for it. Like I'd give the ball away, not get punished. Whereas at that level, I felt like at the time I was just getting punished every time. But I learned a lot about myself. I learned how to deal with those setbacks, and luckily enough, I kept playing. The manager kept believing in me. It was a really, really good experience that first season.
See that, people, I'm telling you now, playing I was at, I remember I played with stuff at that age, 17, 18, and when you get that first tackle from an uncle or whatever, yeah, it shakes your whole body.
First tackle. What was your first tackle like?
Hey, trust me, it's your first tackle. It's the first tackle, and it will shake up your whole being. So, what do you think?
Yeah,
This is where I say to players that you see when it goes to non-league, it ain't about potential. It's about form and consistency. It ain't got the managers there. Like majority of them, they're not gonna be coming to get you and saying, "All right, you know, you can make mistakes 3, 5 days, 3, 5 games, and then we're gonna keep playing you." It's like it's a cutthroat sort of thing, and it'll man you up because at the end of the day, this is the problem that I have with under 21's football at the high level is just there's nothing to play for, and obviously you was able to experience that from early at Merchant to say, "Listen, every day I've got to bring my A game." Um, what was the next transition? Would you say when you went to Maidstone? How was that? Was that any different, or how old you at that time when you went to Maidstone?
yeah, it was probably quite cutthroat because I went to Mesa when I was 21. So I was playing week in, week out for Merchant. I was scoring quite a lot of goals for them as well from midfield. Um, but we only used to get like 150 fans, so it was like I just
Hmm.
used to that experience. And then I couldn't turn down Mesa, and they were getting like over 2,000 fans. Um,
Mm.
and it was it was a good jump for me in terms of it was the league above, but it was more just the setup was it was fantastic for that level, really, like
Mm.
over 2,000 fans at step three.
Yeah.
Um, but I was living in Oxford at the time, so it was like I used to get a lift with someone, so it used to take like 2 hours
Yeah.
getting
That's
to
a trek.
Mesa. So but at the time, like football was everything to me. Like
Yeah.
I was 21. I saw that as still young, and
Hmm.
I didn't really see travel as a big thing.
Yeah.
If it was to play football, so no, and I really enjoyed my time at Mesa. So to be fair, and I was doing well.
Mm.
I think I was like second top goal scorer for midfield, but didn't quite work out after like, halfway through the season. I went back on loan to Mersham. Um, but yeah, it was a bit it was cutthroat in a sense of like I remember um, Victoria was like I was in and out of the team. Our second top goal scorer was in and out of the team playing in midfield, and then me and the manager had a conversation, and he said, "Look, I've got a couple of midfielders who I think are in front of you. I think it would be a good idea for you to go out on loan." So then I was like, "Yeah, agreed." So this was on like just before training on a Thursday. Um, And then on Thursday, one of the midfielders pulled up with an injury. So I started on Saturday, scored the winner, and we won 1-0. Tuesday night, I started again, scored my first career hat trick. So I'm
Hmm.
potentially going out on loan, and now
Hmm.
scoring 4 in 2 games. Then the following Saturday, we drew 0-0 at home. I got dragged at half time. And then the following Tuesday, I was on the bench, didn't come on at all. And then the Thursday, I was back out on loan. So it was an
Jeez.
absolute roller coaster. Starting from scoring my first career hat trick, 4 goals in 2 games as a midfielder, um, and then being on loan, literally not long after. So that's how cutthroat football can be.
Bro, Ryan, what you got to say about this before I jump onto that? Bro? See that there. This is the problem at non-league. Yeah, these managers, bro. Like for me, this is the thing. I know they got to make their job and they got to pay bills, but this is why I said to a few young players at that level, it's not about potential, it's form. Like they think that you have to be that Messi or Ronaldo every weekend. It's impossible. Like you scoring 4 goals in 2 games, bro. Like you know what I'm trying to say. If I was a manager, I'd be like, listen, you got something here. Like you're staying. Like you're not going nowhere. But again, when your manager's got favourites, it's a bit of a messy one. But what do you think about that, Ryan?
Yeah, that's quite surprising. I mean, if you performed in that short space of time, but obviously you get hooked at half time. If you play very bad like that, you get hooked at half time.
I wouldn't say I played bad. I wouldn't say I played well. It was just one of those games where it's 0-0. There's not much in it, and he just put on another midfielder. Um, But I sort of see it from the other side because like I know as a manager, if there's someone who you trust and you back, like you're gonna put them, you're gonna start like the other midfielder. I could tell he was ahead of me, sort of. Not no matter what I've done, because if I'm scoring, then you can't really leave me out. But then it would be like one quiet game, and then it's like right, yeah, can't put it back in sort of thing. So I think you see that at any level, really. You see it at the Premier League, like certain managers will know that they can trust certain players, and maybe he just felt like he couldn't trust me, or enough, or more than the players he had already at the club.
Well, I would say, like, that unfair thing confuse you and throw you off a little bit. And wouldn't really have a chance to say, all right, I would grown, you're at another club. I was speaking to a player who could reach, like, the Irish Premiership. But he had basically messed himself up and basically found himself out of club. But he had said, Ryan, I am not going back down to Dundee. I am adamant I'm not going back down to Dundee. It will mess me up, like confidence. So I think that trust himself, keep like 6.9 every week. You know what I mean? Like where you like you should go high on stuff. In Ireland I had like Afro Caribbean players the whole league that I'm trying to say so you couldn't be high. But I think in the non league you're gonna get so many players that are kind of similar to you. Might get lost, you know what I'm trying to say. But you might not be able to perform at that standard level. And like you said, there's no stability there. You go alone for a month, I'm back, play a game, you know what I mean? So I think you just wanted some stability. But that's the only thing where I would say something. I respect you mentally. Really built on deep. That you built a mental toughness. And from those experiences. That little experience there, break a player. It was still about, I scored those 4 goals, 2 games, and now I'm not even playing. You know what I mean? So you kind of like it from the other side, which is admirable. You know what I mean?
I'd agree with everything you're saying there, and I think it all depends on how you look at things as well. Because like, so that was Brian Premier at the time, and I could have easily been like, oh no, forget it. I'll rather just stay at this club. I'll sit on the bench. That's fine because he would have been happy to keep on the bench. And I could have been like, right, I'm still at Maidstone. I'm still playing in front of 2,000 fans, even if I'm coming on for 10 minutes or whatnot. But I was in the mindset of, no, I want to enjoy my football. I'd rather be playing, whether it's a step down. I'd rather be playing because that's how I'm going to develop. I'm not going to develop coming on for 10 minutes. That don't really matter if I'm playing in front of 2,000 fans. I always encourage young players. I'm like, don't sit on the bench for what you might think is a big club, for the name or the badge. Just make sure you're playing. That is the biggest thing. Like no matter what level it is, it could be step 5, step 6, non-league. Like you're gonna learn a lot, and you're gonna learn a lot about yourself as well. Like just being in that environment.
100%. Yeah, I think that's the big issue. I think the thing that you had is that mental toughness, which I don't think a lot of players would have that today. And I think it's, again, as you said before, most players are comfortable, young players as well, just to get the tracksuit to say that they're playing for someone else, but they're not even getting no minute. And that's a big issue, especially when we see guys. I remember asking guys like, yo, you play for, I don't know, they coming in there with a chanting chat, And I was like, you play for them? Like, yeah, I play for them. Okay, like, when's your last time you played? I don't know, like a few months ago, like I come off the bench like a few times. Like, I'm like, bro, like, you need to leave, go on loan. Like you can do it. No, that's good, man. But the level down there, pants, whatever. I'm just like, but you learn like football, as you said before. Because non-league, you got to play Saturday. You may play Tuesday or Monday. Then you got a game again. There's no hiding place. You know what I mean? There's no hiding place.
100%. And you got to be consistent as well. Like you said, you got games Saturday, Tuesday. Like like my story there. I played well on a Tuesday, scored a hat trick, had a quiet game on a Saturday, and I'm out of favour. And that's non-league. That's football in general. Like you got to be on top of your game, or it's a ruthless business.
Yeah, and 100%. Would you? So in saying that, and we had a conversation briefly about that today. How much do you feel that players, like these techie players, like you guys know, like, you know these guys who think I'm too techy playing non-league. How much do you really feel, you guys, in your opinion, that most of these players probably look at non-league as too easy from outside looking in?
Do you want me to go, Ryan, or do you want to go?
No, go for it, man.
Yeah, I think you're so right there. But what a lot of people don't realise when they go into non-league is how difficult it is, how competitive it is as well. Like you see how many players that are in non-league who have dropped out of academies or played in the league and they're dropping down. So it's like I always say it to people, like I'm truly grateful and blessed to play football and get paid for it. Like when you start your journey, if you get £1 for football, like you're absolutely buzzing with it. I would say because it's so competitive. So I do always say to players, don't take for granted like playing on league because there's so many people out there that want that. And yeah, I couldn't agree more with you that it's just because like I know Premier League academy players who think there's no way I'd go like step 4, step 3, even step 2. I'm going straight into like League 2, but there's no guarantee for that. Like that kind of level is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You got to earn your stripes.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you back as well. How did your moves come about? How like scouts watch you from this step 4 club or 3 club and they want to bring you in, or was you making a lot of noise in the non-league paper? There's a non-league newspaper bears. How did it come around?
Yeah. So Mersham to Maidstone was because I'd been scoring quite a lot of goals for Mersham, and funny enough, I think I played Maidstone 3 times. I scored against them all 3 times, so that was probably sort of an easy one for them to do. Then my move from Mersham to Woking, it's actually a funny story. I try to cut it short, but I was meant to sign for Mersham on a Tuesday night. This was like on the off season. We had actually played against Woking in the Surrey Cup semis. I played really well. Being a striker, I played really well. I scored one. I think I set up one. Played really well when we beat them, and it was their first team at the time. And then so during the off season, I was meant to have signed for Mersham for the following season on Tuesday. But I just asked the manager, could we do it on a Thursday, because I had like a client up that way, so it would just save me 2 journeys. It's like, yeah, no worries. Funny enough, on a Wednesday, I then get a phone call from Gary Hill, who was the Woking manager at the time, and he's all like, what are you doing next season? I was like, I'm about to sign for Mersham. He's like, no. Like, what do you mean? He said, we're interested in you, want to sign you. We thought you played really well. We actually came to watch you for the next game, but I think you was injured. So yeah, I was like, well, let me call my manager. Called my manager back, and then literally, so that was on Wednesday night. Thursday morning, I was driving to Woking, and I'd find Woking. So it's crazy how football works. And I know that if I'd signed on that Tuesday for Mersham, I'd have been on a contract. Woking wouldn't have signed me because obviously they would have to pay for me, and they wouldn't have paid for me because I think I was 23 at the time. It was a bit of a punt them signing me. It was 2 leagues below. So yeah, it was a real funny story, and everything worked out perfectly well.
Wow. And let's talk about it, actually, because that Woking move, man, you was, bro, talk of the city, man. Like, you was on it, like clapping it up at National League. Like, people don't understand when you guys watch Fabio's clips, which I probably put, like what he was doing from midfield, that left foot, from midfield, them pop in, them screaming. Like, talk about them, bro. Just me. I'm gonna put it in the video. I'm gonna make everyone watch it. Like, them screaming from outside, and it wasn't like, and some of them was contested, where there was probably a guy coming in, and you still got it. Like, bro, talk to me about that career, man. When you was that time when you was at Woking, when you signed for them, was it 2016, 15, 16?
Yeah, I don't know the exact year, but yeah, something along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was 23 at the time, but yeah, it was like it's obviously not obviously, but definitely the best season in terms of obviously the level I was playing at and obviously the performances I was having. I remember literally, although it was a pre-season game, we had I went from playing Whitstable away to playing Watford at home. It was Marco Silva's first game.
Yes.
I was marking Kapue. I was like,
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, I had to slap myself. Like Igalo playing up front, Aurelio Gomez is in goal. Like, this is crazy. But obviously that was like a pre-season friendly, but it was still an unbelievable experience. And then I remember like first game at home, and I think it was Macclesfield we had, or Macclesfield or York, one of the two. And I just like, this is crazy. And that was at home. And then I was like, again, because it was like a step up for me. It was two leagues above. I was still young, had no experience at that level. I was like in and out of the team playing in midfield, and then it was like, remember guys the away. I didn't start. Came on, got my first goal, header. Yeah, well, not much of a header. It was more like come off my shoulder, so it weren't no ground contact. But then it was just like after that, like I was just firing. Like a lot of what I was hitting, just going in, and I think my confidence was through the roof, sort of thing. Like I was getting on the edge of the box, and I wasn't thinking twice. And I think that's obviously a massive thing in football is confidence. And at that time, I was buzzing with it, and it's just crazy. Yeah, when I look back at it now, like I was scoring at Tranmere away, Wrexham away, Lincoln away in front of 5,000 fans, and I'd gone from like playing in front of 150 people, and then scoring at Lincoln, who were top of the National League. I remember the first BT Sport live game, and they done like a little montage on me, and I was like, at that time, I don't realise it because I'm in it, I'm in the moment, but it's like when you're looking back, you're like, oh, that's actually a good achievement from where I believe I've come from being at an academy.
Yeah, 100%. And right, you sent a lot of teams away upset. Especially, I can't remember what it was. I remember I saw one, you banged one in, and that last minute, who was it? I think it was,
Might have been Bromley.
I think it was Bromley. Yeah.
At home.
Yeah, at home. Yeah. Oh my days. The way the whole day, the away fans were not happy. The players, it was crazy. Like, no, tops. No, people you got to look at Fabio. And as he said as well, he came from the route where I've seen players from academy. I'm talking league, even Premier League academy, drop down and not even play in National League. Some of them can't even play consistently at Step 3, Ryman League. Some of them are not even doing none of that. And scored 15 goals in your first season there at National League level. That's crazy. That's crazy.
No, it was a really, really enjoyable time.
Man. So what do you say like happened in that next chapter for you to go back on loan to Mersham? Was it because they signed new players, or what was the decision from there?
No, so my first season, like you said, I was doing well. I was on a year contract with a year option. So then, like, it was like last week of the season, and they'd not renewed it or anything like that. At the time, I had an agent. Just the early time, I had an agent, and he was like, "Don't say anything, but hopefully they don't renew it, because if they don't renew it, we'll definitely be able to get you a move into the league." And then literally, last training session, they're like, Gary Hill, who was actually leaving, he was like, "By the way, the club aren't renewing your contract." I was like, "Bugger." But I was like, "It is what it is. That's fine." And then new manager come in, Anthony Limbrick. And I was doing well in pre-season. First game started, and then I got an ankle injury. Set me back 6 weeks, and then I came back, played a couple of 23 games to get going, and then we had Chester away, and then it was my first game back for the first team. went up for a header, landed, done my ankle again. So it's like another 6 weeks. So by the time I come back from that, it was like the new year. And then from there, I'd never started 2 games in a row. So it's like start one game, might be on the bench, start one game, be on the bench. So it's like a bit of a roller coaster. We was going through a relegation battle as well. So again, for me, being quite young, that was I don't want to say a good experience, but an experience, like a challenging experience.
Yeah.
And then, we ended up going down that year. We went down to the Conference South, and then new manager come in again. And then, I was doing well in pre-season, and then probably similar to the Mason story in the sense that I started the first game, got dragged at half time, didn't play, it didn't come on a Tuesday, and then sort of from there I just knew this ain't gonna be for me. So went on loan for a month, but I knew it wasn't gonna be a month in my head. I knew that was me done, because I didn't want to sit on a bench. Obviously, the previous season I'd been out injured for over 3 months. So I was like, I need to be playing football. I can't not be playing football again. So that's when I went back down.
Yeah, no, I remember that. I remember the injuries. Yeah, that was especially ankle. I broke my ankle. I broke my right ankle. Bro, ankles are one of those ones that I did it twice. Actually.
Once you did it once, once you did it once,
it's that foot. It's not the same. Like it's not the same. Like even when I'm walking, like it will try to stick out. Like I'm like, shit. Like, and the first one I was just stubborn. I didn't even end up going. Well, they did a scan, but even see it broke because my ligaments were strong to hold it. But the second time, oh my days, everyone in training heard a pop, and that was it, man. Like so ankle injuries is something that.
And that's the thing. Like the season before, I played every game. Working, it was like something like 52. I was playing like 52 games. I don't even think I missed a training session with a knock or anything. And then following season, I was out for quite a while. It was like my first time in probably men's football that I was out for more than 2 weeks. So I weren't, because I love football, I weren't used to it. So I was like, I need to get playing again. But it's never a case. I'd never say like, injury's the reason why it set me back. Like it's part of the game. And if I was good enough to then be playing at that level again after the season or whatever, I would have been playing at that level. But I obviously wasn't at the time.
I hear you. What do you say in terms of the top goals that you scored? Because I remember you scoring that first round in the FA Cup. Would you say was your number one goal that you scored? What favourite?
That was one of my favourites, just because I didn't start that game and I come on. I remember it was Stockport away and it was a proper game. Like we was 3-2 up and the atmosphere was just unreal, electric, and was hanging on a bit. And then I thought I should have probably started that game. The manager had other ideas, so and then I came on, and I remember there being quite a lot of Woking fans that travelled up north. So that one was really enjoyable. I think although it didn't mean anything, scoring a pen, I think, in a way, just because it was in front of the most fans I'd played against, like over 5,000 fans. But then in terms of like best goal, probably that Bromley one.
Yeah, that Bromley one was mad. Yeah, that Bromley one was mad.
The state of the game as well. I think it was 1-1 like 5 or something
minutes.
like that.
Yeah. Last minute.
Can I ask you a question about scoring a goal? What is it like when you hear the crowd roar and you hear that net ripple? What's it like? What's the feeling? How can you describe the feeling?
It's hard. It's hard to describe it. But like you saying that, like, it's just like start getting goosebumps sort of thing. Like when you think of like the crowd, and especially when it's like a big moment in the game, and it's like those moments that you go, this was all worth it. Like all the pain, all the setbacks. Like as footballers, you're gonna have bad games, you're gonna have bad moments. Like you're gonna give the ball away, like and that feels so bad. But then it's those sort of moments when you go and score in front of a big crowd or in front of your home fans, like those are the reasons why you take all those little setbacks and it's all worth it.
Yeah.
What was it like having an agent? And thanks for answering that question. And I think that I think I've scored goals at like count level, but nothing when you're in like a crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's somebody in that crowd as well, like another big man. So make sure we get that experience. What was it like having an agent at that level?
Yeah, it was like I was always like I never really wanted an agent, if I'm being honest. And then it was that Woking season where I started. There was an agent that always kept in contact with me from when I was scoring quite a lot of goals commercial. I never went along with anything, but then when I started scoring goals at Woking, and it was like leading up to January, I think it was like November, and I was just like scoring a lot of goals, and I was like, you know what, this might be like time for me to actually get an agent to help maybe push something potentially in Jan, because I'm doing really well at the moment. So yeah, so done that. I think he was pushing a few things in Jan, but nothing come about. And then obviously the story in terms of the 1 year option in the new year. If that wasn't the case, then I think he would have been quite good in terms of getting me a club. But yeah, he was supportive. But that was the only 2 years that I had an agent really.
Was there any other nation you probably wanted to get ball in or looking to go overseas and play, or just you had it set just for England?
Yeah, I just think it's been England. So I went Portugal to the top division out there, Nacional. I was out there for pre-season. I think it was at under 15, under
Okay.
16. And they wanted to sort of sign me, but at the time, I would count as a foreigner. So I'm Portuguese, I would count as a foreigner because I wasn't born there, so I could only be there at 18. And then there was another time when I went out to Cyprus when I was 19, and I went out pre-season. A friend of mine was playing out there, and he said, "Look, come along, I'll get you a trial." So I went along there for like 2 weeks, but again, they were top division side in Cyprus, but they had their squad there, and because I was 19, they was like, "Look, we'll sign you, but then we'll load you out to a second division club." And at the time, I then had a trial at Charlton back in England. I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I'd rather take a trial at Charlton." And if I'm honest, it was more my mindset. I weren't ready. Like I was 19, I felt young. Like I wasn't. I don't want to say a man, but I couldn't cook. I couldn't do anything.
No.
Like,
Oh, come on now, bro. Overseas, playing overseas, your mind has to be built. Like, it's no joke. Like, you ain't got mum to cook you no chicken, nothing. Like, you gotta do that your own. You're not gonna be able to, let me check my friend. Can't do that. You know what I'm saying? It's great. Obviously, I've done it. Like, it's not easy. Like, your mind's gotta be built for that. Like,
yeah, you do 100%, 100%, and I give it to the players that go out there. And to be fair, you get a lot of good experience from that. And I'd recommend it about me doing it, but yeah, you learn a lot from different cultures, things like that.
100%, 100%. Now you went to from Woking, Estonian town. How was that down there? I know that they at Estonian they loved you there.
I don't know if they love me. I done alright there, but yeah, like one of my seasons there, like I played every game. That was really good. We went on a like proper good FA Cup run. Like that was a really memorable moment where we went to Macclesfield away. I think they were League One or League Two at the time. And we beat them 4-0. Like it was unbelievable. And then we got a bit of a crap draw second round because we got AFC Fire to a National League at home. So it was like one of those where you're like, you can beat them, but not weren't like a massive team, and they ended up beating us 2-0. But no, Kingston was really good. I was getting us playing, give or take week in, week out. Those was like COVID seasons though. So we had 3 seasons, like, but 2 of them were COVID hit, so didn't really get properly going.
100%. No,
Well,
you can go ahead.
you know, like, that day, like, you see a lot of, like, first you have to be social kind of stuff for some of the kids or players in certain ways where it's more based around ego. It seems that you come from like an era or like the non-league era where it's just about putting my head down and doing my work. Hopefully it comes to fruition on like a Saturday or Tuesday. What is your routine? What would you say for any player that is at that level starting out just to minimize the culture shock? How would they condition themselves?
That's a good question, and I think I couldn't agree more with you in terms of like just getting your head down. I think the main thing is understanding that, like we spoke about before, it's not going to be an easy level. So like, let's say you're coming from, you've been released from a academy or whatever, and you're like, right, I might need to go down the league. Don't expect it because you've been at whatever it is, Premier League, Championship, to go down to step 3 or step 4, and you're going to boss every game, because football don't work like that. So it's like just knowing that you have to be on it every single game, but just be ready for a setback as well. Be ready to not play well one game and find a way to then come back from that and play well the next game. And you might not play well that game, but still be mentally strong enough to back yourself and know that you're good enough. It's just there's a saying like, it's gone around for years, isn't it? Like, never too high, never too low. Like, you don't become a bad player overnight. Same way you don't become Ronaldo, Messi by scoring a hat-trick one game. So just staying humble and just staying level-headed to know, like, I just got to keep grafting, keep working on my weaknesses, keep showing my strengths. And everything will work out. Like, if you're playing step 4, but you're good enough to be in the league, you'll end up in the league. Like, don't worry about that. Don't try to force it. Just keep doing what you're doing, and the time will come.
Yeah.
Okay. One more question I have. That's all right, okay?
Yeah.
So I have a theory that you cannot call yourself a footballer. You cannot call yourself a footballer without playing 100 games. 100 men's team games. Because I just feel that the experience that you gather in those games is like, I don't know, you can't teach it. You can't teach experience. Did you have any lads like, do you know when you made 100 appearances, Fabio?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd actually love to know how many appearances I've had in total. Yeah. I'd love to know it, but it probably would have been in like my 3rd season at Mersham. But yeah, I could not agree more with you. I think like you said, those first 100 games, that's like your apprenticeship. Like, that's you like learning your trade. Like, because you could have 10 unreal games, but then what about if you then have 10 crap ones after? Like, you get what I mean? Like, there's that consistency. So yeah, I think like anything, it's easy to get there. Same way like you see players playing a Prem a season, but then that's no good if then the next 5 seasons they're playing National League or whatever it is. That consistency to keep performing at those levels all the time, and it's easy. It's not easy. You've got to stay on it.
And does your IQ improve after those 100? Like, if you go on the pitch now, I always talk about playing, seeing the picture. Like, okay, maybe sometimes you might have to go back, go forward. Or if it's not on this, or if it's not on the left side, when I go to the left side, go back to the right side again, maybe a couple times a week. Do you feel those things, like you know how to play a certain pass or how to set yourself up for a strike, that helped your IQ? And you see a picture before it happens, Fabio?
100%. The more games you play, the more you get used to certain things happening. Like, more you do it, the more it's going to naturally happen. Like, it's like driving a car, in it. Like, at first, you're looking at the steering wheel, you're looking every little thing, you're like thinking of it, and then the same way, once you've played like 100 games at a certain level, you know the centre back going up for a header, which is right on there beating, not going to head it 40 yards, probably going to drop down on the edge of the box, and then you're going to shoot, and your likelihood you're going to score. Whereas in your first game, you're like 40 yards back, not anticipating that he's not going to get a clean header, and it's those little things where on the outside you just see it as, it's filtered perfectly. No, it's because he's probably seen that picture so many times that it's just become natural that it drops in there. Like, you see it with the top footballers, like the strikers, they're always in the right place. They're in the right place because they know their winger is on his strong foot. Right, he's flipping out across the front post and getting the pass.
100%. Let's talk about also the unseen hours that you used to do, because man, we used to do some sessions. I'll be at home after a game.
It used to be crazy, innit? It used to be crazy.
This guy would text me and say, "Yo, Lark tomorrow at 6 or Lark 5:30," and I'll be like, "There." Like, I'm telling you, there. Like, the only time if I weren't there is if I was
crazy.
or injured or something. But all the time, I'm there. And you know, I'm talking about Larkle in the cage, and we be licking up the the cage walls, go 1v1s.
6, 7 a.m. Like, neighbours looking out their windows, thinking, what are these two doing? We used to get a few looks, didn't we? Like,
Yeah.
Shut up, stop kicking the ball against the fence. It's Sunday at 7 a.m.
Sunday, people's weekend.
It used my schedule. When I tell somebody, I coach at the moment, and I tell some of these young kids, because like some of the young kids are like, I've had 2 games this week, I can't play. So I'm like, when I was playing on league, I remember it used to be Monday. Monday I used to train with a college. Tuesday I'd train during the day with a college, then have most of the time a Tuesday night game. Wednesday I would then play for the college in a game. I could have been big time. I could have been like, I'm not playing for the college. I'm playing on league. But I just love football. I was playing. It could be anywhere. Like, it could be, like I said, like Fabio away Tuesday night, and then on Wednesday I'm playing for the college. Then Thursday it was like a double session because it would be the college, and then it would be with Mersham. And then Friday, a lot of times it wouldn't be a session with college, but I'll be doing extras. And then Saturday it would be Mersham games. So I was playing 3 games a week, training like ridiculous amounts. And then, like we just said there, you'd think, right, Sunday you've got to have one, surely. Like, I was going to Larkle Park, like practicing my shooting, practicing all the little things that we used to do. So it was just like non-stop. And I just remember them times I was never injured. It's crazy because right now you'd go, all the sports science is saying there's no way you can do that. Like, you're gonna get fatigued, you're gonna get injured, but for whatever reason, I don't know the reason. I won't say I was doing all the right things. I weren't doing like yoga and all these things. It was just, my body was just probably so used to it that it was just so strong in different ways that I didn't even know.
That's the key. Simple, and I get the same question. I remember before I went out to Australia. Australia, same thing. Like, and to be fair, when I got injured, when I stopped training the volume that I was doing before. My body was just used to building that resistance. And actually, they actually do say that in the NBA. Obviously, I love the NBA, and they actually say in the former players that the reason why they feel that some of the players are getting injured now is because the team practices are not as intense as it used to be. And 2, as well, some of the boys are not doing the unseen hours. And I get asked that question all the time. Oh, yo, man, when do you get off day? When I told the one boy, I said to him, bro, you should be doing 2, minimum 3 sessions a day if you're not playing in the team. Like, they are looking at me like, when's your rest day? I said, what rest day? Bro, you're trying to make it, or, you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
especially when you're young.
Yeah.
I don't know. I even about there, I look at it now and I don't know how I've done it, because I used to finish a game on a Saturday and I'd go to the gym on Saturday night and do legs, and I'm looking back at it now thinking, how did you actually do that? Because I would do legs now and I'd be like out of action for at least 4 days. So I'm looking back at it thinking, how have I just played a 90-minute match and got like, to be fair, a lot of the things weren't right. Like, you shouldn't really be doing that. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, but somehow I'd make it work, whatever. Like, it's just,
Yeah,
yeah, my head weren't right, and a lot of people say, what are you doing? Like, but
they get injured though, and
yeah, and I'd say it got me to where I am now. I'd never say I was like the most talented or anything like that, or else I'd have been at the academy at a young age. I think my mentality is probably one of my strongest attributes.
100%, 100%, and even finishing up, how important is the fitness? Like we had guys try to jump into our session and couldn't manage it, or they're off tempo. You know them ones there, like they're playing slow, like they're in their bedroom.
I got
Ah,
listen, we put on that session at Bournemouth. Kish ran the session, yeah, and we had a few ballers from basically we had a little network, and they came down, and there was one baller that me, Fahim, and Kate really liked. It's called it like the Eric Dyer, had high hopes with, and I think the intensity of the session that Kate put on, and like I was just watching, and I was like, not today, you know, like I was like, not today. But the kid that we had high hopes for could not last. He was going, man. He was going after like 20 minutes of the session.
done. After the beat test, he was finished.
Crazy.
Like you know when they go to a corner and vomit, and that's when this came. Not to laugh, but like you never, like you know, like all right, training Tuesday and Thursday, that's fine. But every day, and then extras, I don't think they're put for that conditioning. You know?
No. But I think, but I just feel like with that, for example, I always focus on what can you control. Like, fitness you can't 100% control, but you can control a lot of it. Like, if you're not fit, you can control that. You can get fit. Can't necessarily be the quickest. You can improve that. Can't necessarily like be the strongest. You can improve it. But fitness is something like if you're not fit, like just run. You haven't got to have like science behind it. Do interval runs, do whatever runs you're gonna do, but that's something you can control in a sense. And like in the game, 97% of the game, you haven't got the ball.
Exactly.
So 97% of the game, you are actually running. So even if you're having a shocking game, you can still make it hard for the player up against. So it's something you can control in a sense, but you can't always control. You can have a good touch. You can't always control that. If you're a flary player, 1v1 player, that you're gonna always beat your man. But it's the basics of winning. It's a bit non-league in a sense, but it's not really because even at Premier League level, if you get outrun, you're probably gonna lose.
100%, 100%. That's the issue I have. Is exactly what you just said there. I tell players, see, fitness and running, that ain't got nothing to do with God giving you a talent. That's down to effort. Simple, down to effort. Down to whether you're going to put in
a
the
lot
money.
of it is down to mentality.
Mentality,
Like,
yes.
When you see the beat test, you see so many people drop out, and you're like, you haven't even hit like 60% of your capacity, and you're dropping out. And that's not even fitness, because you see them on the pitch when it comes to 11-5 game, and they're up and down.
Yeah.
That's just mentality.
Mentality.
Yeah, I think that's why like I had coaches back in the day come pre-season, get right. Coach will purposely put the balls out. Oh, we'll get ready. Right, no balls today. Put the balls away. And we're doing that hard running for a good like hour and a bit. I'm talking about up and down the park, down the stairs of the rocket team. And then boom, he'll bring out the footballs. And you'll see those that was like saying they got a stitch, they're up now, down to 10 football.
Yep.
So he psychologically knows who's ready for the fight and who's not. They keep ball for like 5 to 7 minutes. And that's it. But he knows, all right, you try to get out of the hard work.
Yeah. People.
But at the end of the day, those are the ones who, when the times get tough, like during the game, they're the ones that are not going to be there. Whereas the ones that are grafting and the ones that you know that are running for a bit ball there, it's not even to do with running. It's like we said, to do with mentality, like rolling your sleeves up when you know that you might be having a bad game, but
Yeah.
you're gonna find a way. And it's like the beat test, like you're so messed up at one point, but somehow you find a way to still get another level. Like that's another 10, 12 run when you was out on your feet. So that's the mentality thing.
Yeah, I can't lie to you. I lost the bleed test 2 times. The first time I lost properly was at Basis. I had a guy called Simon Dunn at Basis. So he got released from Southampton. I can't lie, he was a machine. And I can't lie, when I lost that bleed test, it hit me. I'm thinking, rah, it ain't even down to techie or technical abilities. It's down to he just wanted it more. And I can't lie, from that day, I ain't never lost a bleed test. Never lost. I ain't never lost a beat test. Even though I play as a winger, I said, nah, fitness, I can't let nobody outrun me. I couldn't do it. And I mean, it ain't gonna happen.
You saying Prince? It was a Michael Jackson. Michael Jordan took it personal.
Bro, I took it personal, man. I can't lie. From that day, it was personal for me. Like, every club I went to and they said beat test, I'm like, right, good. And I knew from when it went to level 12 or 13, that's when I knew it was all mental after that. I see guys dropping out of 10. It's when 12, 13, it's mental. Then you get those brothers that's running next to you, and I'm hearing them breathing. And I'll slow down just a little bit at their pace just to think they're going to win. And then I'll just use my stride. And I'm like, alright, cool. And then I just like, yep. And then, yeah, it's going to happen, man. Never losing a beat after that. No. Can't do it now, though. No. Can't do it now. Probably do, but I'll do exercise now, but I'll say I could probably get about. Ryan, when you saw me, Ryan, when you saw me do B test last year, well, I wasn't playing football, but I wasn't playing football, but was it? I dropped at what, 10? 10, and these guys are dropping at 10.5, 10.6. I'm thinking, nah, that's when I got upset, and I knew they weren't ready, most of them. I knew they weren't ready. I'm thinking, I said, I'm not been kicking ball like you guys trying to play pro. Like, you guys should be finishing 13, 14. I think 2 guys, Dan and Luke, Stoke, we never did the Stoke brothers, they did like 14 around that time. But yeah, speed test is important, especially when you want to play non-league, like no hiding place. No, but we're gonna wrap it up. But what is the last question? What is next for Fabio? Are you gonna try and be manager one day, or what are you saying?
I wouldn't say managing at non-league. I coach at the moment. I coach kids. And I quite enjoy that. Like I like the development side of things, like seeing them improve, seeing them take on things. And I think a massive reason was because of obviously my pathway where I felt like I got the most development between the ages of 16 to 19 because of a very good coach called Dan Thomas who's at Fulham now. So because of that played a big part in my football career, and I want to do the same in terms of helping whatever age it might be. Like quite enjoying sort of under 13, under 15 age group to develop them. Not necessarily a manager as such, but who knows, like years to come.
Yeah.
But in terms of at the moment I just see myself coaching and just developing kids as much as possible. And that's not necessarily to go and make a professional contract or go and be a semi-professional footballer. It's just playing at the best level they can and that they want to while still enjoying it. That's the biggest thing. Like, because that's why people play football, is to enjoy it. So if someone's playing as a professional footballer and then they're not enjoying it, it's like, what was the reasoning of all that hard work? Like, if you're there, enjoy it as much as you can.
Yeah, 100%. Well, thank you, bro, for coming on, man. It's been a pleasure. And myself and Ryan, this will be one of my favorite episodes, to be honest, man. Good having a chat with you and giving insight, man. So, people, Fabio here, signing out. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share as well. And answer questions in the comment section, and we'll get to it.